Quite often when I go into a business, one of the things that's foremost is that there's a feeling that a particular staff member hasn't been working or hasn't been doing it right or is not fulfilling the needs. And how do you resolve this conflict? And certainly in small business, you can have quite a conflict. Now, over the period of time, I've had people say to me, oh, I've really got stuck into them and I've told them. And I had one particular case where I had a telephone call from the office manager, and she said, oh, I really got stuck into this particular girl. I told her that she wasn't doing it right, and she hadn't changed various items on the computer when she should have, and she'd done work that wasn't needed to be done because someone else was now doing it. And after about 5 minutes, I happened to wander in and talk to the particular girl, and she said, oh, did Mary tell you that she had a go at me? Oh, she said something about it, and she said, oh yes, well, she had a go at me, but it wasn't my fault. I wasn't told, and I only thought I was doing the right thing, and I've got to know what's going on. Now, the danger in having a go at someone is immediately they become defensive. And I know when my young children were growing up, one of the things we used to do was not have a direct conflict with them. We would try to wait until we were in the car driving somewhere, and then we could just have a general conversation, and we could talk about, oh, well, as parents, what we feel is that 10 o'clock is late enough to be home, and get it out of that conflict situation where it's intense and you need to talk about it. And one of these things that I guess I've seen quite often is, and more often than not, I was told, Douglas, I want to have a talk with you, and we have to sit down and have this talk. Now immediately it becomes a battle when you're in that type of thing, because you become defensive. The other person attacks and says, you did this, you did this, you do this, and you say, no, I didn't, I did this, and it becomes this justification. Whereas if you can have an environment where it's just a conversation, the other person isn't feeling intimidated or threatened, you can resolve the issues and they can see your point of view as an employer and you see their point of view as an employee. So it's very important, I think, to develop that communication skill of just discussing what the problems are, because more often than not, when you've employed that employee in the first place and what's changed, so that person can still do it, but we take the conflict out of it and explain to them why we want it done a certain way, or that it wasn't explained to them because you're under pressure and you forgot. And they can say, well, I thought I was doing the right thing, and they can talk about it just in an open conversation as opposed to attack and defend. And so in resolving that sort of conflict in organisation, it's important to harmonious organisation. It's important for a harmonious relationship and all work together to have it. So if you've got a thing where someone's done something wrong, or someone's done something that you don't think's in accordance with how you want it done, don't make a point. I've found that the best way is not to make a point out of it, is just to open it up. I remember also when I was playing footy, and there was a footy coach, Alan was his name, Alan Horsburgh, but there was a footy coach, and what he would do at quarter time and three-quarter time, when you had your huddle and you had these things, he would never say, Doug, you're not on your man, or Doug, you've got to run harder. What he would say is he would address the group and he would say, you've got to run harder, you've got to be more on your man. And he got the message across to the entire group. And everyone would think, yes, I've got to run harder, he's really talking to me. So he got the message across to everyone, but he didn't do it in such a way as a person had to feel they were defensive. And that's a great way to run your business.